Well, ladies and gents, who'd have ever thought that you'd see headlines like this from The Hollywood Reporter? Box office bomb, the Marvels opening to $47 to $52 million in new low for Marvel Studios. Deadline, The Marvels Meltdown, Disney, MCU, seeing lowest box office opening ever at $47 million. What went wrong? Forbes, The Marvels, tallies only $21.5 million at box office on opening day, despite $220 million budget. Well, it's actually a little bit more than that, quite frankly. This is terrible. This movie will lose hundreds of millions of dollars. And everyone on Twitter is melting down, and it's absolutely hilarious. And this is what I mean by the meltdowns. This is just one of many, many, many Twitter threads like this. Alden Diaz, any reporting on the Marvel's box office that doesn't mention the fact that its stars were on strike and unable to promote it all is incomplete and irresponsible. At best, promotional materials have immense value. That stuff helps build movie-going experiences. Now, this is raging cope. Now let's digest that. You know, we're reporting on the Marvel's box office. Let's talk about whether it was whether the strike made any impact on that. Barbie says no, it doesn't really matter actually whether the stars can promote the movie or not. So there's one. Five Nights at Freddy's. There's two. I mean, there's been plenty of films. Oppenheimer. There you go. There's another one. There are plenty of movies that have come out and done relatively well without stars promoting the film. This is raging cope. And let's take a look at what else he has to say. That's the first thing that should be included, but there are others. The ongoing right-wing grift hate campaign against its top-billed performer. Didn't stop Barbie though, did it? That's cope, raging cope. The new storm of false bullshit surrounding its director. It wasn't false, that was all completely true. The fact it's more diverse film than the first. What has that got to do with anything? What? You haven't added the reason why that would... What? That's a weird self-report. The fact that one of the shows it follows underperformed on streaming, except in person of colour households, because of general misogyny, Islamophobia. People not taking teenage girls seriously. That is hilarious. People not taking teenage girls seriously. That's an actual sentence that came out your mouth. And getting sent out to die against legacy Star Wars, Kenobi. No, people just weren't interested in that. There was no Islamophobia. There was no general misogyny. No, you're right. People don't take teenage girls seriously, and they shouldn't, because they're teenage girls. Funnily enough. But also, the Ms. Marvel as a character isn't a well-liked character. That comic came out, and it bombed, and they had to cancel it. And they've had to keep recreating it in different forms variously over the years. This person's a moron. This is general Twitter, by the way. I highlighted this Twitter thread because this is like the best bits of general Twitter at the moment. The fact, and again, like I said, misogyny is not to blame for this. Misogyny was misogyny to blame for Barbie hitting over $1 billion? Piss off. You're full of shit. The fact that this is the first project taking the specific bullet of parts of the build-up were behind a paywall. Really? It won't be the last thing to experience this for Marvel. For Marvel and Lucasfilm, for Disney. Well, sure, fine. I guess maybe that's kind of relevant, but probably not. Because that's also their naming conventions. They should have called it Captain Marvel 2 if that was going to be a part of it. Of course, it has to be the film starring a diverse trio of women, directed by a black woman that goes out and deals with this landscape first. That's complete nonsense, but fine. The fact that the box office numbers have largely taken a hit in general, that's just been a reality post-COVID. Yeah, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man. I mean, there's so many films that have come out. Mario. You can't use that as an excuse. This is raging cope. The fact that fans of this particular world who complain non-stop about films being too interconnected for phases 1 to 3 are now complaining that they aren't building to a connected goal. This is not getting to the watch this next boost. I could go on. Yeah, I'm sure you could go on. Raging cope. Why is it so hard to just say that the movie sucks? because we're not talking about anyone's individual opinion of a film. Yelling, no question marks, hope that helps. What? These people are so stupid. But anyway, it's bombed. It's a massive bomb. So The Marvels is anything but marvellous so far at the box office. So based on Friday earnings of $21.5 million, Marvel Studios and Disney superhero tentpole is headed for a domestic opening of $47 to $52 million. I said it would struggle to hit $50 million. I still stand by that. I think it will genuinely struggle to hit $50 million. And it's on set to rank as the worst start in the history of the MCU. No one cared about this film. You got to make people care about your film. No one cared about it. And no amount of promotion would have made that, happen. People just don't care. And this is what they say. It bolsters the theory that superhero fatigue is a real thing as fanboys grow weary. Fanboys. Yeah, that's the other part of your problem, is that men are the predominant movie-going audience. Why would we have bothered to go and watch this movie? That's something else to be well aware of. So until now, rival DC was the superhero studio that endured the biggest ups and downs. Yep, true. Word of mouth is already hurting the Marvels. Yeah, there you go, because it's crap. Which is the only MCU title to receive a B cinema score from audiences after Eternals and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, Quantumania, the vast majority of MCU releases have earned some variation of A. Rotten Tomatoes critic score is 62%. Likewise on the lower end. 33rd installment of the MCU is a sequel to blah blah blah. And this is funny, right? It just goes to show the interest just isn't there. So we're seeing incredible headlines like this. The Marvels Meltdown, what went wrong? Saturday AM update, the last minute push for the Marvels with an appearance by star Brie Larson on The Tonight Show. And at a theatre in New York City, post-actor strike have not moved weekend grosses any higher. Because no one cares about this. It doesn't matter how much promotion you could have done. It wouldn't have made it that much better at all. And again, there's still huge amounts of cope from the likes of this shill. Can we get some toast? And they had a massive Twitter thread about this as well. Just bitching and moaning. Is everyone going to ignore the fact that the stars of the Marvels couldn't promote the film until 2 days ago? It's got nothing to do with it. But mate, the vitriol this guy spews. I'm sure Hot Ones with the Man finale would have added another 30 mil to the box office. No, but months and months of Brie Larson. Months and months? It wouldn't have added 30 million. These people are insane. Promotion from the actors isn't going to boost the performance of the movie. Simply put, no one cares about these characters. Simply put, you don't know what you're talking about. The most childlike reply ever. No one does care about these characters. Because Ms. Marvel was a bomb. So there's your evidence right there. These people are stupid. Absolutely stupid. But realistically, how much percentage of an increase would them being on Seth Meyers' GMA really increase it? 26 million instead? Enough of a difference that Kevin Feige has got all of his stars out on the press to promote the projects now. Well, he's got them out to promote the projects now because he can. It's contracted. But it doesn't mean that he thinks it's going to make much of a difference. It's more like we might as well. Absolutely unbelievable. He is right. Promotion is better than none, but it doesn't make a difference. Five Nights at Freddy's crew didn't make a difference. No one's promoting it. This is the thing. People are they're bent out of shape about this, but there's so many films that have done well without any promotion. But anyway, this is the funny thing that they say, right? So Deadline says the Marvels misfire is about the rusting of a platinum brand that's in need of some serious, not polishing, rather resurfacing. Months ago, who would have thought that Universal Blumhouse Five Nights at Freddy's 2 weeks ago in a day and date debut on Peacock would post a higher opening at the box office than the Marvels. It's interesting to put the two pieces of IP side by side because it says something about Universal and Disney's ability to harness fans around an event. As we mentioned earlier, there's a maelstrom of reasons why the Marvels didn't work. Many will be quick to point out superhero fatigue and that the great comic book movies of the millennium are now seeing their grand demise, just like the big Hollywood musicals of the 60s. No, Marvel diehards are a devoted bunch, and when they know there's a good movie on deck, they show up several times. Just a year ago, sequel Wakanda Forever scored an A, was in the Oscar mix with ultimately 5 noms and a win, and opened to a massive $181.3 million and legged out to nearly $500 million stateside and $859 million worldwide. So they say, no, the Marvel's Meltdown isn't about superhero fatigue. It's about Disney's overexposure of the Marvel Cinematic Universe brand on Disney+. Which is kind of true to a degree, but also the fact that it's just a shit film. And those moth holes are beginning to show. Keep what's meant for the cinema in cinemas and keep what's meant for in-homes in-home. Meaning this whole crossover streaming into film master plan isn't working, nor is it really connected in a jaw-dropping way. With Ms. Marvel not being one of the OTT service's better series, there's a whole quad of fans who either didn't catch Ms. Marvel or who were too turned off by it, that they sure as heck don't want to see the Marvels. The Marvels, with its crossover streaming series, blah blah blah, looks like it was built to be seen in homes. It's just not, no one cares about it. It's not a good film either. And that's the thing, right? They even say word of mouth isn't good because it's not a good film. People don't care. And Forbes coming in with some hard-hitting stuff here. The Marvels tallies only 21.5 million. So top line, The Marvels, the 33rd movie in the Disney-owned Marvel Cinematic Universe, is shaping up to be the lowest box office opening weekend ever for an MCU movie, according to multiple reports, with Variety reporting a $21.5 million Friday performance for the action sci-fi that had a $220 million budget. So key facts. Marvels is projected to generate $47 to $50 million for its opening weekend. Despite being far and away the top grossing film in theatres this weekend, the projection is lower than opening weekend numbers for The Incredible Hulk in 2008. That's woeful. Which held the previous low watermark for an MCU debut at the box office. Pretty bad. The Marvels is competing with movies such as Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon and Five Nights at Freddy's, the latter of which has raked in $118 million, so that's just killed it. Despite the poor projection, The Marvels could help the domestic box office separate itself from one of its worst performances of the year. Maybe, but it's still a bomb. Still a massive bomb. Huge, huge, huge bomb. Most box office weekends in the last 2 months have generated less than $100 million domestically, marking a huge shift from numbers seen in the heat of summer. The box office brought in a whopping $310 million on the weekend of July 21st, with Greta Gerwig's Barbie and Oppenheimer both released and went on a tear for the next month. The thing is, this is just a bomb. No amount of appearances is going to make it a success. This is just, and everyone coping on Twitter hard, is absolute comedy gold. It's super, super funny. And they're like, oh, it's still pretty bad, but it's not the Marvel's fault. Yeah, it is. It's a bad film. So, yeah. It is actually their fault. Didn't Five Nights at Freddy's do much better? Yep. I see the Shield talking points went out? Yep. And that's the thing, everyone's talking about that now. So yeah, that absolutely is Shield talking points. Marvel haters also want to ignore the Eternals of Shang-Chi released in the middle of the pandemic. They don't care. Black Widow released day and date, and it did better than the Marvels in the pandemic. Let that sink in. Day and date. I'm pretty certain it released during the pandemic anyway. Otherwise it wouldn't have released day and date. So that speaks volumes, doesn't it, ladies and gents? Everyone wants to forget that as well. No amount of promotion would have made this a success. Everyone bitching about misogyny keeps it's a false equivalency because you need to look at Barbie. That didn't stop it. Women can go out and watch a film if they want to. They don't want to. This isn't appealing to anyone. So there you go. Marvel have forgotten who their core audience are, which are actually men, and you need to start appealing to them because they are the core audience of Marvel. Believe it or not, the majority audience anyway. And they're also the core audience for cinema goers anyway. So yes, you do need to appeal to them. Now there are outliers like Barbie where women absolutely will show up and keep going. But generally, the audience of Barbie are not the audience of a Marvel film. So unless you can somehow capture that audience, doing a film like this where it's wrecked. No one cares. So, Marvel's huge bomb. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.